the Patriots came out. They basically gave the Bills the playbook for the game. We're going to run it down your throats, and you got to stop us. And they continued to do it. There were points in the game where I was like, will you just throw the ball once? I know, Jay, you were going on Twitter about it too. Like, you're running on 3rd and 14, and you're going to punt because they're loaded 9 in the box, and can we see a pass? But you know what? They stuck to the game plan. They were stubborn about it, almost too stubborn because of the way the game almost ended. But it worked. And, I said it last week on the pod and I said it to you guys in the Twitter chat before the game, that the weather conditions were going to benefit the Patriots in this game because of how dominant they are with running the ball. And that came right out. The Patriots rushed for over 200 yards, capped off with a major run by Damian Harris. I think it was 64 yards, with the Bills, again, loading the box. And that ended up being the only score, only touchdown of the game for the Patriots. So I loved what they did. I loved how they committed to it. They stuck with it. Listening to sports radio today, there was a little bit of, oh, does Bill not trust Mac to throw? Whatever, this and that. He did exactly what they asked him to do, and that was just to drop back, hand the ball off, and let the big boys up front win the battle in the trenches, and let the 2 running backs that they have, Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson, just carry the team. The Bills had no answer for it. They knew what was coming, and they just outright couldn't stop it. And it was fun to watch. It was stressful to the end, but pants tent action came right after Miles Bryant made that deflection at the end of the game in the fourth quarter. I loved it. What I didn't love in this game was the Patriots throwing N'Keal Harry back into punt coverage. Or the punt return, the punt return game. Why are we choosing the game where the winds are all over the place to throw him as the deep guy in punt coverage? I can get if you're going to throw him as an up guy in this kind of scenario, fine, throw him up there. Why is Gunnar Olszewski playing the up guy role in that punt return scheme? I don't get it. The Patriots had all the momentum at that point when this play occurred. They were up 8-0, and they had just forced I think the Bills went 3 and out on this drive, and they let N'Keal Harry basically trips over himself, lets the ball hit him in the face. The Bills get the ball, in the red zone, and 1 play touchdown. It's now 8-7. They gifted him 7 points there. I don't get why they decided at this point to bring him in there. N'Keal Harry has been an overall draft bust. He does one thing good for this team, and it was on display in this game, and that is his run blocking with his crackback blocks. On the toss plays. I don't know if you guys saw Brian Baldinger's breakdown of a couple of the run plays that the Patriots were running. They were basically running with Harry out there as, kind of the inside receiver, with Michael Onwenu as an extra offensive tackle, and they basically were just alternating sides of the field and running the same play back to back to back to back, just switching which way they were running the ball. So that's the one blemish that I put on this game, in terms of, because without that, you're talking about the Bills not scoring a touchdown in this game, and it looks even better than it did, right now. Overall, very excited to see what the Patriots do coming out of their bye week in a couple weeks. They do have to play the Bills again. Can't wait to be in attendance for that game. But they control their own destiny in terms of getting the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Yeah. And listen, I'm kind of there with you as well for the most part of what you said, and for me personally, as the guy that's been the harshest on Bill Belichick for the last 2 years, and I was sitting in all last night. I texted you a couple times, Bird, just giving him props because I try to be as fair as possible. And last night you saw an absolute coaching clinic. I mean, that is the epitome of genius on Bill Belichick's part. I know a lot of times New Englanders get carried away with the whole genius thing. The whole chestnut checkers bullshit. Last night, it was not no chestnut checkers. It was just straight up, we're going to dominate you every single play, and you're not going to stop us. It was basically manhandling the trenches, running this way, running that way, just absolute domination. That's what I love the most. There was no trickery. There was no, crazy scheme. It was just simply, we're going to line up, You can't stop us. We're going to run the same exact play. And that's what they did for 60 minutes straight. It was simple as that. And that's always, great to see if you're a Patriots fan, just because it shows me domination. On the other end, the Buffalo Bills side, I think this is an embarrassing loss of all time. Like, this might be one of the worst losses for the Bills that I can remember. And obviously, I remember the olden days with the four, victory, the four falls of Buffalo. But for that team to get run on in a very primitive high school offense. Navy and Georgia Tech run this in the college game, and it's nothing special. It's just lining them up and running it. I think this was as embarrassing a loss, I guess, for Buffalo. So props to Bill Belichick. He won Coach of the Year last night. He had a tremendous game plan. The only concerning part for me is Mac Jones, and this is what a lot of people are making these excuses today of that's what the game plan was, that's what they wanted to do. I, for one, do not buy that Bill Belichick woke up on Monday and said, I'm going to throw the ball 3 times tonight. I'm sure the game plan itself was going to be, run dominant, but I do not for 1 second believe that there was going to be only 3 completions is what he wanted to do going into that game. I think when he saw that first pass to Jonnu Smith, I was wide open in the flat, and Mac Jones floated it. I think at that point he decided, yeah, we're not throwing the ball anymore. And the best way I can illustrate this is if Mac Jones wasn't on the field last night and they took him off the field and ran Wildcat all night long, they would have had more success than having Mac Jones on the field. Just because in that place of Mac Jones, they could have put an extra blocker. That's just how dominant they were in the running attack. And if they ran Wildcat all night long, I think it would have been even a more dominant performance in the rushing attack. So I'm concerned about Mac Jones. I always have been about his average skills when it comes to his arm talent, and last night that was not full display. But other than that, I think it was just a masterpiece from Bill Belichick.